Source of energy. Coal was formed millions of years ago when the earth was covered with huge, swampy forests, where plants, giant ferns, reeds, and mosses grew. As the plants grew, some died and fell into the swamp waters. New plants grew up to take their places, and when these died, more grew. In time, there was a thick layer of dead plants rotting the swamp. The surface of the earth changed and water and dirt washed in, stopping the decaying process. More plants grew up, but they too died and fell, forming separate layers. After millions of years, many layers had formed, one on top of the other. The weight of the top layers and the water and dirt packed down the lower layers of plant matter. Heat and pressure produced chemical and physical changes in the plant layers, which forced out oxygen and left rich carbon deposits. In time, material that had been plants became coal.
Type of energy. Coal is categorized as a non-renewable resource. It takes millions of years for coal to form as energy. This energy comes from the sun that plants absorbed millions of years ago. When a plant dies, its solar energy is released. However, when coal is being formed, the plants decaying are interrupted, which stops the solar energy from releasing. Thus, this energy is turned into coal. Millions of years ago, plants fell into bodies of water, creating a thick layer over time. As climate changed, more dirt came into the water, interrupting the decaying process. The weight of the dirt and water made the dead plant layer pack. It went through physical and chemical changes, eventually turning into coal. How it is obtained. Here are a few clips describing how coal is obtained into an energy. Advantages. Coal is the most abundant fossil fuel, and there are reserves of 250 years worth of fuel. The price of coal is quite cheap and stable. There are large amounts of electricity that can be produced using coal at a low price. And there is a good availability for much of the world. For example, coal is found in many more places than other fossil fuels.
Disadvantages. It's environmentally unfriendly. Burning fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide, a powerful greenhouse gas, that had been stored in the earth for millions of years, contributing to global warming. It is also a non-renewable resource. Transportation might be expensive for countries with no coal resource.
Influence on a society. MEDCs are less likely to use coal as an energy as it is not environmentally friendly and it is a non-renewable resource. And since they have access to other sorts of energy, they are more likely and willing to use those, even if they cost more, in order to save the environment.
LEDCs are more likely to use coal as it might be the only resource they have for energy or the cheapest and would rather spend less on energy, even if it is environmentally unfriendly and non-renewable.
First up is a monster machine known as a continuous miner. Armed with a 16-foot cutting drum, this ferocious beast chomps away at the seam, carving out a series of access tunnels. As it bores its way forward, it feeds the coal behind it to a crab-like loader and shuttle car. The continuous miner produces up to 5 tons of coal every minute, more than a miner in the 1920s produced in a whole day. But its job is actually to prepare the way for the real monster, the long-wall shearer. Armed with a set of teeth to put a Tyrannosaurus to shame, its cutting edge is over 1,000 feet long, and it can smash an amazing 50 tons of coal out of the seam every minute. Think about it. That's almost 1 ton of coal every second, enough to meet all the energy needs of an average household for 78 days. But there are 3 million tons of coal in this 13-foot high seam. Despite its ferocious appetite, it will still take 6 months of shuttling back and forth before it has finished digging it all out.
Let's take a look at how the electricity is delivered to our homes and businesses. Transformers located just outside the plant boost the power from 18,000 volts to 345,000 volts, so it can travel long distances over transmission lines to where it is needed. Substations located along the path reduce the voltage so it can be moved along distribution lines attached to the utility poles. As the electricity nears customer locations, transformers on poles step down the power for use in homes and businesses.